I am coming to you from my Uber. I don't have my camera on because, yeah, I don't really want people doxing me knowing where I'm at. But just know that it's morning. It's Wednesday, right? But good morning, good morning. So I will not necessarily be in the comments because I'm trying to pay attention to my surroundings here. But I am a passenger. Just letting you guys know. Anyway, I had to give that disclaimer for the two of you. Anyway, good morning, beautiful people. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everybody that hears the sound of my voice is doing okay. Today is Wednesday, another day in the week, another day of the braid promo at my shop. So I'm on the way to the salon. I'm about to drop off my kiddo and head there in just a second. But while you are listening to the sound of my voice, please go ahead and like the live and also subscribe to the channel. Let me say it again. Like the live, please and thank you. And subscribe to the channel, thank you in advance. Okay? Now that we've gotten that out the way, let's converse about a few things. So there's been a lot of videos, think pieces, sort of. Hello? Okay, I think we're there. And, there's been a lot of discussions about and also the fact that a lot of people are experiencing instances of the Mandela effect and all this being connected to CERN being shut off. Now, me personally, I am very much an empath. Let me just say this first of all before somebody comes for me in the comments, because people like to do the spirituality versus Christianity type thing. First of all, I do not subscribe to Christianity. I am very much a believer of God. I'm very much a follower of God and the things that God wants me to do. But I do not subscribe to any organized religion. So first and foremost. But I also know that God equipped us with, your third eye, your intuition, your inner voice. Some people call it the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, where you can tap into things. Your spirit is not just your personality inside your body. Your spirit is equipped to kind of like, give you those alarm bells when something ain't right. You can feel it. When a person walks in the room, you've never met them before, but for some reason, they just give you the it. That spirit telling you, hey, this person might not, be cool to be in your circle. And that's okay. So a lot of discussion has gone on about, like I said, CERN, timeline jumping, and also the Mandela effect. And I saw a video that made me crack up because I am born in 79, grew up in the 80s and 90s. And this guy was talking about the Mandela effect. It was over on TikTok. Follow me over there too. If you've never done that, please follow me. And please like the live. It's as quick as tapping a button. Thumbs up this live, please, and thank you. It helps me get seen in the algorithm. And I'm just a rising YouTuber trying to become a bigger YouTuber so I can make some shape for my household and my kids. I ain't trying to go to Chanel tomorrow. I'm trying to pay rent and take my kids on trips. That's my dream. So please, if you're listening, please go ahead, like the live, and subscribe to my channel. So I wanted to share my own personal experience of Mandela effect. I don't know if it was timeline jumping, but I definitely have experienced some things that don't necessarily make sense. For instance, when I was a kid, I was very, very sick. I had this stomach bug thing that would just come every couple months, and it would make me sick to the point where I was lethargic. I would be like hallucinating because I would just be out of it. I would get like a really bad temp, and I would just, it felt like like I was having an exorcism of food, if you feel what I'm saying. If you picking up what I'm putting down. So, not to get TMI, because I know it's early in the morning, y'all might be eating. Anyway, but I used to have this real bad stomach bug and fever. To the point where one time my mom even said that I asked her, do you see them? And she was like, what are you talking about? And she says that at like 4 years old, I told her that I saw purple bunnies dancing upside the wall. And she was like, oh, I need to take this baby to the hospital because my temp was like really high. The crazy thing is that in those instances of me being sick, lethargic, and out of my little mind, this happened from the time that I was born, maybe up until I was about 11 or 12, and then it just stopped. No explanation, no reason why, it just stopped. I didn't have any food allergies, I didn't have any medication allergies, I actually wasn't taking medication, but for whatever reason, I just had this thing, and it just stopped. But there were times when, if y'all are in the comments, I cannot read comments right now. I'm trying to pay attention to my surroundings because I am in an Uber. I'm a passenger in an Uber. So if y'all are in the comments, good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. But I cannot look at the comments right now. I'm trying to pay attention so that the driver knows where we're going. Anyway, I distinctly remember certain things about me going to the hospital. Like, I vividly remember them. I remember playing with a certain child. I remember what the playroom at this hospital looked like. I remember that sitting on, I don't know if y'all remember, if you have a certain age, if you're in your 40s and 50s, you'll know what I'm talking about. Fisher Price used to have this little rocking horse, and it was red, blue, and yellow. I distinctly remember sitting on that rocking horse. And my mom is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And my mom is getting older, but it's like certain things I distinctly remembered. And I'm being told by different family members that they don't remember that. Or timeline where I was just a sickly child and something happened to me, and then I timeline jumped and all of a sudden I was healthy. Because I'm telling y'all, when I got to be like 11 or 12, it just, my kindergarten year of school, my mom keeps everything. I'll be 47 this year. My mom keeps everything. So she has a box that has all our old report cards. Back in the day, you used to always have like the actual cards, right? I looked at my kindergarten report card. I had missed about 20 days of school due to this mysterious illness that they never found out what it was. They never found out why. They thought that maybe I had food allergies. So they, one month they take me off dairy, the next month, no sweets, the next month, no carbs, no fried food, no grease, no. Like, it didn't matter what I ate, I would always end up sick. And I always wondered, was our house connected to it? Because I remember only maybe once or twice where I got sick, like on vacation or somewhere else. I never got sick at school. It would always be when I got home. So in my crazy spiritual mind, I wondered to myself, even further, was my house a small portal? Did I timeline jump and all of a sudden now I'm a healthy kid? Because my parents distinctly remember me being sick. My brother remembers me being sick. Everybody remembers that part, but there are certain details of me going to this hospital. Like, I remember sitting in a bed, and the bed had like bars like a crib. And I remember my mom doing my hair in the bed. And I remember me sitting in the bed with my doll, and I was doing my doll's hair. My mother said that never happened. She said she doesn't remember that happening. And she's like, I guess it happened. I don't know. Like, and I know everybody's getting older. Even I'm getting older. Sometimes we forget things. But there are certain things that have happened in my childhood around that time that nobody else remembers. That I distinctly, like, it's not like it was a dream, like maybe it happened. Like, in my spirit, I'm 110% sure that these things happened and nobody else remembers them. I'm the only one. So it's just crazy to me. And then I started noticing as I got older, I started tapping into my spiritual side without even knowing it. I guess it's just in me. I've been told I have other family members that sense things, that see things, that feel things. But every time I have a dream about a family member that I have not seen in a while, I need to check on them. If it's a friend that I have not talked to in a while, or an acquaintance, and we cool, might not be best friends, but we cool, it's kind of like, yo, I haven't talked to that person in a minute. Let me reach out. And now I realize why. Every time that happens, there is something going on emotionally, spiritually, or physically with that person. Every single time. And my coworkers have even seen it where I would be at work. I'm a hairdresser, right? And I haven't seen one of my clients in a minute. And I take walk-ins and appointments. I would mention somebody that I might not have seen in 3-4 months. Baby, please tell me why they come walking through that door within the next hour. Or I'll be talking about, for instance, maybe 2 Fridays ago, I was speaking about my dad. I was making a joke. Something my dad had said that was funny, and I was sharing it with my boss. My phone is on the station. My dad calls me as I'm talking about him. In that same day, I'm talking about my brother, and my brother calls me in the middle of the day. He's usually busy. So that was interesting. But it's like words have power. It's like really like speaking people up. I wish I could speak money up like that. I'm working on it. But words have power, right? Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. Sorry, y'all. I had to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to look at y'all comments real quick. Okay, Michael Williams said, just get it away. I have the same. What should we do? What is it? Lyle said hi. Yeah. Thank you so much, Lyle, for subbing to the channel and liking the live. I appreciate everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, there are just so many things. And when you say, what should we do? Pray. Because sometimes the things that we're afraid of, they're things that God has put in us. Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. All right, sorry, y'all. Let's get back to it. So, basically, what you can do is pray. Pray that you can, I won't say have control of your gift, but pray to try to not be afraid of it. Sometimes God does things to keep us from stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna share a quick little story with y'all. This happened when I was about, I think I was about 18, maybe 19. I'm born and raised in Chicago on the south side, and I now live in Georgia. Okay, so when I was, the short time that I attended Chicago State University, shout out to CSU, I had a little job. I worked at Kohl's. I worked in the shoe department at Kohl's, little resale job, you know. I'm 18, 19. So I leave for work. The job was in the suburbs at a little mall called River Oaks Mall. Shout out to my Chicagoans, because if you stay on the south side, you definitely know River Oaks Mall. Okay, so Kohl's department store was fairly new at the time, and I worked in the shoe department. So I got ready to go to work, and I remember a storm was getting to roll in. So, you know, like one of those, if you're from Chicago, you know, it's a windy city, but we get really bad rainstorms. Like, it'll rain sideways, the sky turn different colors. It's crazy, because that storm comes off the lake. So a storm was rolling in, And my job was maybe 15 minutes away from my job. I mean, my job was about 15 minutes away from my house. So as I'm driving to work, I have my parents' cell phone, a cellular one cell phone that you had to screw in the antenna to. I'm really telling my age right now, but it's okay. So this cellular one phone, I had to screw in the antenna to make calls. So keep that in mind. As I'm driving to work, my little 15-minute drive, I keep hearing this voice that says, call home. And I'm like, at the time, you know, I used to indulge, because I was in college, in the wacky tobacco. And I'm like, you know, I'm partying last night, you know, now I'm hearing stuff. Now I'm paranoid, right? Okay, just being all the way real. So I'm like, man, I'm tripping. So I don't pay no attention to it. Then I hear it again, call home. And it's a little bit louder. And I can't really describe the voice, but I know that it was a masculine voice. To me, I always said it was spirit, it was God, it was the creator, it was, give me a warning, okay? So I hear it one more time. As I pull up in my parking space at work, I hear it one more time. And it's very loud and very commanding. Not aggressive, but very firm, like call home. All right, back in the day when you had a phone that you got to screw in the antenna, every time you turn the phone on, it cost you money because you had to pay for minutes. If you know, you know. So I never turned this phone on. It was only in the car for emergencies. So I take it out of my purse, I screw in the antenna, and I call home. When I call home, my mama answers the phone, and she's breathing kind of hard. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, yes, no. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, why did you call me? I said, I don't know. I just got a feeling like I need to call you. She said, how did you know? She said, I got to call you back. She said, I'm okay, but I got to call you back. She rushes off the phone. What I found out later was when that storm came in, my mother was sitting in the picture window of our house. If you know the little house that kids draw when they're little, it's like a little square, and it has the two windows up top and a door and a big window at the bottom. Okay, think about the big window at the bottom. My mom was sitting in front of that window reading the paper. She loves to read the paper from cover to cover. Okay, she's very well read, very intelligent woman, super smart, and she knows a lot about a lot of things. Okay, so she always loves reading the paper. She even prefers that to watching TV. So she's sitting there reading the paper, and there's a tree that was in front of our house, and the tree fell, and one of the bigger, like, not even a branch, almost like a tree stump that was attached to this really old oak tree that had been rotting for years in front of our house, comes through not one but two panes of glass. If you know those older houses with the big window in the front room that looks out, you know, to the front of the house, that glass is extremely thick. Okay? That branch went through the window where my mother was sitting. Had she not got up to answer the phone, she might not be with us right now. It wasn't like a thing, and my phone might cut off because we're driving down this hill. I'm not driving, but I'm in an Uber, just so you know. But I know this hill is a dead zone. So if I cut out, I'm sorry. But, had she not answered the phone, she might not be here with us. Okay? So the thing is, like, I had no control over why I called her. There was not a reason given to me. There was not, like, I didn't get some psychic download like, hey, call your mother because you have to help her avoid XYZ. I didn't even know that I was calling my mama. It literally just said to me, call home. Now, I knew my mom was at home, and my dad was probably at work at the time. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. But it's just the thing that it said, call home. And it didn't give me a reason. It didn't give me a why. It didn't give me a explanation. It was just a sense of call home. And that is what I've experienced my entire life. Do I think that I'm psychic? No. Do I think that I'm spiritually tapped in? Yes. Do I think that God gives me downloads to warn me? I think he does that with everybody. But the thing is, you got to make sure you listen to the right source. That's why you have to pray. That's why you have to really tap in and legit Instead of just saying our fathers and Hail Marys and reading scriptures, legit talk to God like talk to a new person. God, is this really you downloading stuff? Gotta search and find out. And you'll know by how things feel. If something don't feel right, it probably ain't right. It ain't right. It's simple as that. If something don't feel right, it ain't right. So, yeah, things like that have happened literally my whole life, where I will have a dream about something, and it's like something as simple as driving to work, and it'll say, yo, make a left instead of a right. Don't go that way today. And then it might be an accident or something happened down that way. And it's like, oh, Spirit was telling me not to go that way. God was telling me not to go that way. God was protecting me. So that's the way I look at it now. I used to be really scared of it. It used to freak me out. It used to make me nervous. Because even as a child, I saw shadows. Even as a child, I saw spirits. There was a spirit that used to sit on the couch in our front room in our old house. I do not know who this person was. It did not feel malevolent or scary, but it did creep me out, because every time I would wash the dishes in the kitchen, you could see through the kitchen, the dining room, and the into the living room, because it was all open in our old house that I grew up in. And when I would be washing dishes, because my parents did not have a dishwasher, I was a dishwasher. I would see the faint outline of an older black man in a suit with a hat on. And he would just be sitting there. He wouldn't move. He would just sit there. And I would see it out of the corner of my eye. And if I ever turned all the way to the right to look, of course, I wouldn't see anything. But he would just appear from time to time. He wouldn't move. He would just be sitting there. And I have no idea who this person is. He didn't look like anybody in my family. I didn't get a feeling that he was familiar. He was just there. But it would creep me out as a kid. And then our basement, which basements always creep everybody out, right? They're underground. Like, I always feel like basements creep us out because they're underground. What else is underground? Oh, I don't know. Cemeteries. Okay. Just saying. My theory on everything is the whole world is just one big cemetery. Because the world has just been building on top of, on top of, on top of. Think about all the people that have passed away and been buried since the beginning of the world. So you're just building on top of them. So I feel like, I don't care if you say it's whatever, how do you put that? Untouched land, so to speak. It's been touched. It's been touched. I don't think there's any land it's probably few places in the world that have not been touched or disturbed by humans. So I always think that basements are creepy for that reason. But several times we used to hear doors closing and the door would be open. You go look and the door's open. Or you hear and you go in there and there's no book on the floor. Like, just weird stuff. Now that part was weird and that did freak me out, and I did not like being down there. If I ever played down there as a child, I always had a blanket where, like, if I got scared, I would go get on the couch that was down there and cover my head with the blanket. Like, I don't know. I felt like that was my protection. And then I give y'all another notable thing that happened to me. Wow, that is crazy. That was a crazy experience. But I'm thankful because that experience with my mother, it may have saved her life. I'm not saying I saved her life. I'm saying God used me as a vessel. Okay? So, another sleep. She would be completely still in that room until somebody called her name. And then she would start twitching in the bed like she was trying her best to come out of it and wake up. And I felt that with my whole soul. Like so many people at the ICU that we had to go in the room in shifts because it was so many of us. I only got a chance to go in there one time because I wanted to make sure that the elders and like her kids and stuff like that went in there first. So anyway, my family and I drive back to the house. We're giving keys to my grandparents' house and we drive back to the house. Fun fact, in Mississippi in October, it's still very, very hot. And my grandparents were very thrifty. They did not believe in like keeping the air blasting if they're not going to be at the house. So they would just turn the air completely off, right? They didn't know how long they was going to be there. My granddaddy didn't know. So the family had just turned the air completely off for the day. When you walk into their house, there was a screen door, screened-in porch, and then there's a door to the inside of the house. So I ended up following said family member that opened the screen door. We went in the screened-in porch. Then we walked in the big door to the house. When we walked in the big door to the house, a gust of cold air smacked him in the face, went through him, and hit me. And we just stood there. We didn't say nothing. Didn't nobody say, did you feel that? We just stood there for like, I don't even remember how long. We didn't even look at each other. It's like he stopped in his tracks, I stopped in my tracks, and we would just stand in the doorway. But it was like, it was a feeling of, when you're a kid and you playing outside, it's real hot, and then you run in the house to get a popsicle, so you open the freezer door, that gust of cold air, it went through my body. And it was in that moment, I broke down, because it was like my grandmother was letting me know I'm finna transition. And she ended up passing, I think, like a week or two later. I don't even think it was a full 2 weeks. But in that moment, it was like, it was heartbreaking, but it gave me peace, because she's like, I gotta go. I ain't gonna make it. I gotta go. And it hurt my soul, but at the same time, it gave me peace that she at least gave me that. It was almost like, I'm letting you know, and goodbye. So I, for years, like, questioned myself, like, did that really happen? Was I tripping? I was 17 at the time, and the family member that was with me is extremely close to me, and they're 9 years older than me. I ain't gonna say who it is, because that's their experience. But I have asked this family member, 10, 20 years later, hey, do you remember this experience? They will not speak on it. I've tried probably about 3 or 4 times to bring it up, because I know that it happened, but sometimes things are weird and you just need that verification. When I tell you, they shut me down. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want me to talk about it. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's talk about something else. That's literally their response. And they just get very quiet. So I know that it happened, but I also know that things like this freak this person out, so I leave it alone. But that's my confirmation, like, yo, that really did happen, because I'm not the only one that experienced it. So yeah, so with all this talk about all this stuff, I just think that CERN has been turned off, okay? And the fact that CERN is in charge of, like, the quote-unquote God particles, which I don't even like that term. I don't even like using that term. If we're not talking about the creator, but that's just me. It really gives me the cringies when people say that. But anyway, you just really need to pay attention to your spiritual well-being. Wellness is not just about your body and your body being tea and eating healthy. Pay attention to not only just your mental health, but your spiritual well-being. Your mental health has to do with you being balanced and all that, right? But your spiritual health, a lot of times people don't pay attention. You keep going around people that don't mean you well, because you got, fear of missing out. You keep being in places where you're not wanted or not invited, trying to belong. Stop trying to belong. You weren't meant to be there. That's why it don't feel good. Stop trying to do things to please other people. A lot of people are on social media and they're looking a certain way, or they're dressing a certain way, they're acting a certain way. And it's cool to be on social media and have little characters and little personas. But when you lose yourself in that and you're not you anymore and you don't even know who you are, that's a problem. Take care of your spiritual health. Listen to the creator. Listen to the signs. Pay attention to the red flags. They be blinking at you. You don't even pay attention. So yeah, I just really think we all need to be very, very mindful of the energies that we are around, the energies that we invite into our space. Pay attention to your circle. Sometimes your circle ain't always going to be your circle. Sometimes people going to fall off, and that's okay. They were meant to be there for a season. You learn what you need to learn, and now they have the exit stage left, and that's okay. I had to learn that the hard way. I had a friend of over 15 years. We never had a real falling out. But when I noticed that the energy around this person was different, and she noticed it too, because we hadn't seen each other for a long time. She had become very, very distant. And when I saw her again, she came up to me and apologized. And I was like, what you apologize for? She's like, oh, I know I haven't reached out. I know I haven't been the best friend. I know I haven't, been around the kids like I'm supposed to. I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. But she never changed her behavior. So I just let her fall off. She was my kid's god mom. Her and her husband were my kid's godparents. So I don't wish her any ill will or anything like that. But it's like, I had to realize this person not for you no more. And that's okay. I thought she was my forever friend because we had been friends since before I have kids. And if you know, my oldest son is almost 20. So the fact that she fell off when we shared so much, like, this is a person that when I had my kids was in the hospital. When I had surgery, she was there when I woke up. Like, that was, she was around my family. Like, it was just weird that she started moving differently. But I had to realize things were changing in her life that didn't align with mine. And that was all right. So I had to let her go. Like, Spirit kept telling me, why you holding on to this person? Why you keep trying to stress texting and hanging out with this person and they not giving you back that same energy? Their words are saying that they want to, but they not doing it. So I had to let that ride. Stop hanging on to the things and people that don't feel good to your spirit. Because literally, your spirit will guide you where you need to go. The Creator will guide you where you need to go. All you got to do is pray about it. But these gifts are not things to be scared of. I know a lot of people are doing different spiritual works and whatever, and that's on them. I don't get into all that, but I just rely on what's in me naturally. Just like there are certain times when I have a client in my chair and she might be going through something and Spirit would tell me to tell her a certain thing. I don't know why. I don't know her business, but maybe, and I only do that with clients that I've had for a really long time. But like, there are times when I literally, like, I have a client in my chair and I literally will see the hurt on that person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I try to give them extra care while I'm doing their hair. I literally will see the stress on that person. I can feel it. That's why sometimes I really have to take my own mental health days because it can get to be so overwhelming. But yeah, I just think we all need to pay attention. In these days and times, pay attention to what your spirit is telling you. If it don't feel good, don't do it. Walk away from it. Like, I think that's just something that's so hard for us to do as humans. Especially with the younger people, they want to belong. They want to be a part of something. They and I get that, and that's cool and all. But does it serve you? Even the older generation, we got millennials, we got Gen Xers that jumping on bandwagons. But it's like, does it really serve you? Does it feel good to your spirit, or are you just doing it so you can be seen? Pay attention to how things feel. That's the best advice I give you. Pay attention to how things feel. And then you'll know. And if you're still confused, go pray about it. Come back to it. Say, God, is this really for me? If it's not for me, remove it. God, if this person ain't for me, if this job ain't for me, if these things aren't for me, remove it. We're so afraid of losing something, we don't even look at what we could possibly gain by doing that. And sometimes it's very uncomfortable to change. I was just let go from a position that I kept for almost 18 years. The same people, the same shifts, the same clients, the same environment. So I realized after a while I was almost like a little robot. But my spirit was not happy. And I end up, God was already trying to remove me from that job to begin with, and I didn't pick it up. I hurt my foot. I broke my foot in October 2023. And by April 2024, I end up having to have foot surgery. Okay? My foot started healing, right? I go back for a post-op, find out that I have an infection in said foot. Have to have surgery number 2. Okay. So I have surgery number 2. That pushes me even further back in recovery. I am out of work for 11 months straight. Now, during that time, I couldn't go work another job. I couldn't go look for another job because I was on workers' comp. Plus, who's going to hire somebody that has a bum foot, right? I was never supposed to go back to that position, and I didn't see that then. It was so much a mixture of excitement, anxiety, and discomfort when I returned after being on workers' comp for 11 months. And I couldn't put my finger on why I was like low-key unhappy in my spirit. And I was like, I love this job. I've been doing this job for a long time. I've been with this company. You know, this is the longest job I've ever held in my life. Like, why am I uncomfortable coming in here? And it wasn't necessarily the people. Even though if you've ever been on workers' comp, especially for a corporate company, you'll see certain cues where they really don't want you to be on workers' comp. They really don't. I'm going to be honest with you, they really don't care. $1 billion companies do not care about the small fries. And to them, I was a small fry. I was just another employee, so whatever. In the midst of an ocean of employees. But I realized the reason why I felt so disturbed going back, I was never supposed to go back. I was supposed to start a new journey. And I know that because during the time that I was down, I had the biggest spiritual awakening ever. And I get into that on tomorrow's live, on what really kicked that off. It kicked off me paying attention to myself. It kicked off my weight loss journey that I'm still on. We're still fighting to get under 200, but we're a lot closer than we were a few years ago. I was 260 pounds. My A1C was 14. My blood pressure was sky high. There was so much going on wrong. And something major happened that was a catalyst for me to start my journey. And I know that what happened is not what I wanted to happen, but God makes no mistakes. So things came into alignment, even in ways that I didn't necessarily want them to, for me to really sit down and pay attention to myself, dissect myself, really see, hey girl, why are you 260 pounds? You've never been this big before, even when you had kids. Why are you depressed? Why are you feeling drained all the time? What is going on internally? So I learned in that time how to hone some of my gifts, how to pay attention to the flags, to the cues, and how to go on with my day without letting the things that used to bother me. I'm not argumentative like I used to be. A lot of times, if somebody is talking and they just believe in something so wholeheartedly, and I have a different set of beliefs, and we're going back and forth, I'm going to just let you have it. After a while, if the conversation is not going anywhere, I just say, okay, and I stop talking. I don't get upset. I don't get angry. Because I know who I am now. Because I know where I'm headed now. Because I know that God don't make no mess, right? And that as long as I listen to my intuition, my third eye, You got your chakras, all that good stuff. I'd be alright. So yeah, pay attention, y'all. Pay attention. Pay attention. I can't say it enough. Pay attention. The reason that a lot of people are in situations they're in is because you didn't pay attention. If you're in a bad relationship, it's probably because you didn't pay attention to the red flags. They were out there, but you like that girl or guy so much that, hey, you didn't pay attention. You overlooked them. Because, ooh, he fine, he got a nice car. You overlooked it. You know, regardless of if that man might be disrespectful to his mama, he ain't disrespectful to you yet. So you overlook stuff. You know, maybe the girl that you know, maybe you're interested in a female and a young lady or a woman, whatever, and you know she's always a good time, but she don't take care of her kids. Pay attention. Little things mean a lot. Pay attention. If a girl always got her nails and toes done and her child looks like who done it and why, pay attention. If a man treats you like gold, but he treats his mama like mud, pay attention. If you feel better alone than with them friends that you have, when y'all go out and you feel drained after you come home, pay attention. All these things are cues, are signs, are red flags, are caution signs, all of it. So in this day and age where, like I said, they done turned off CERN, the government is messing with a lot of things right now, and we are being plagued with distractions on the news. Because all this stuff with FIFA, you know what I'm saying, that, oh, there was going to be all these crazy things happening was in Miami at FIFA, or Florida or whatever at FIFA. Okay. That was to distract you from the fact that, you know, missiles is being dropped in other countries and things, okay? The fake release of the Epstein files, baby, they only release what they wanted you to see. They'll never release it all. Let's just be real. That was a distraction from what is really going on. Okay? The lights in the sky in Jersey and the stuff that they found in Area 51 a few months after that, and all these crazy things are distractions. 6G is coming. Google 6G. Google Neuralink. I don't want no goddamn Neuralink. I don't want nothing implanted in me. Like, what? All these things are distractions. And if you're not careful, you get lost in the sauce. If you're not careful, things are going to be turned upside down and you're not going to know which way is up. So pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to the people you have in your circle. Pay attention to how you feel and the energy that is around you. Like I said, I'm going to say it for the last time. If it doesn't feel good, remove yourself from people, places, and situations. If you keep eating the same food and your stomach hurt, but you like the way it tastes, stop eating it. Your body trying to tell you that ain't for you. Okay? If you're dealing with somebody and every time you exchange, we'll say time, and I'm going to use that in air quotes because I don't know how to say it on we'll say adult time. I don't know how to say it on the two of you. If you feel drained after that interaction, remove yourself. That person is draining your energy. And baby, we're going to need all the energy in the world to make sure that we're safe going forward. 2026 is almost over. We're in the 7th month. Pay attention to your numerology, your numbers, all of it. Pay attention. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings. Thanks for watching.